All right, and there was some feedback about examples of inserting and manipulating images and tables in Markdown. So when to use vectors or lists. Now, images, you seldom need to insert images into these Markdown documents. I guess some of you will probably want to do it. Um, to be honest, I've never really done it myself. I don't need it. So I need to, sometimes I insert images into our presentations, but that's a bit different. So I will share my source codes for all my presentations with you. So you can check it out. So presentations are different, but just a markdown document, really seldom use it. And whenever I want to do it, I just Google it. So I just Google how to insert an image into a markdown report. So here is apparently what you do. So let me try it. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it should work. So I'm going to insert just this into my markdown report. So here is here is an image, right? So let me just copy. So I've just downloaded some image here. I think it's JPG. So alternative text, I guess. Well, let me type something. Okay, let me see if it is going to work. So I think it should work. So if I just need to HTML, I think they're going to see an image. Yeah, this is what it looks like. How to control it, how to resize this image, I don't really know, but I guess you can Google it out. So if you really want to. It's not very hard, believe me, it's not very hard. Okay. Tables in R Markdown. So tables, it depends on what kind of table. Again, I've never really needed to insert a table that does not come from within R. Because if it is R, then what you do is you just you just type it. So like table. Well, if you want to show your some data as a table, say empty cars, right? So this is what you can do. This is a table, right? So if you so then you can just again um, knit it, and it's going to look okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but it looks all right. So this is what it look like. What it looks like in the HTML document. It is possible to make it better. So there are some special packages for typing like super nice tables in Markdown. So there is a package called cable. There is another one called Stargazer. You will see Stargazer in the next lab. So Stargazer is extremely useful to. You can use it to print just the data, but it is more useful if you want to print a summary of regression coefficients of regression model. So Stargazer is extremely helpful. Cable will just print usual tables, only a little bit nicer than the default method. Okay, but it's all kind of Googleable, and We will learn some basic tools, even sometimes some advanced tools throughout the course. So at this moment, I'm not assuming that you are familiar with this. When to use vectors or lists? When to use vectors or lists? The answer is very simple. You always use vectors if possible. So if you work with data frames, you use data frames. You do not use lists. You only need to use a list if you understand what you're doing, and if because of some reason you want uh, your variables to be in a format where there are kind of different records. So if you really want something like, I don't know. So imagine like you have empty cars is a data frame, right? So empty cars is a data frame plus of empty cars. So this is a data frame. Um, and suppose that you want to empty cars. You want to construct some linear model. I don't know. Let's say um, M is going to be a linear model that predicts MPG with a number of cylinders in empty cars, right? So this M. So suppose what you want is to kind of store them together. So you want at the same time your data and your linear model to be a part of some kind of unique structure. So in that case, we can create a list, like list out of your data frame, empty cars, and your model. And in this case, the type of the class of L is going to be list. And if you type the first entry, so the first entry is going to be your data frame. The second entry of that list is going to be your um, linear model. And you can actually I call entries of that list. You can give them names like oops, linear. Right, so now this is what your list looks like, and if you type it out, then it has, well, let me do it here in the command. So if you just print L, then it's going to have two kind of records. So the first is called data, and the second is called um, a linear model. So not only you can refer to its entries by number, like second entry, but you can even use the names linear. It's going to be the same thing. Uh, but it is seldom needed. Uh, when you work on something complicated, when you really want to, I don't know, when you produce a lot of different models and you want to combine them and you want um, to print tables that summarize all the models at the same time, so then sometimes it is useful to use lists. But other than that, you seldom really need to use like just a list in R. So when you when you need when you have a lot of numbers, it's a vector, so you just use a vector. If you have a lot of strings, it's a character, so then it's a character vector, and so on. So you always basically work with vectors or with data frames or with matrices. So and just in some exceptional cases, you need to use lists. Okay, I think that's all. I think I've covered all the issues that you had after the lab zero. So I hope it is enough. If not, you just send me a personal message. I will always help you.